Hello everyone, today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to actually show you how I organize and work inside of my little one-car garage. Just a bit of a life update. I know I've moved around a lot the past couple of years, and now I finally have a nice space to work and shoot out of for my YouTube videos, so we're gonna have a lot more videos in the future now. If this is your first time to my channel, hello, my name is Colin. I'm a backcountry snowmobiler and real estate photographer out of Washington State. I'll save you the pain of having to skip forward through the video, so let's get right into it. As with typical Washington weather, it is pouring rain outside. It's been raining for, I don't know, about 3 weeks straight. For some reason, it's just a nice river of rain recently, so I apologize if there's any major background audio from the rain. So before I go any further though, I want to get the E46 out of the way so we have a little bit more room to walk around in here. Yeah, I do have quite a bit of room to walk around on the side of it here. You can tell it's not all the way up against the wall, but it's fairly close. And we'll get to the damage on the driver's side here in a future video. That's a little bit better. So first up, I wanted to talk about lighting and power and how I am able to have all this inside of a one-car garage since there is only one plug. So when I moved in, I wasn't sure if that plug actually was connected to my unit. I'm still not sure if it is or not. I haven't really looked into it very much, and I haven't really noticed on my power bill if it actually is. Since I only had just that plug right there, I wanted to make sure that I used all LED lighting, and any kind of power that I hooked up, I wasn't using a ton, like running my air compressor and a power tool, or having all the lights on and the air compressor. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't pulling too much amperage, since that's probably just a normal breaker that it's connected to, which I don't know where it is. I'm pretty sure the breaker for it is actually in one of the storage units nearby to my building here. But I wanted to just make sure that I wasn't pulling too much power no matter what. So I did get a little 6-way plug there. One that goes to the surge protector right here that powers both the fridge. That's the orange extension cable you see there. I obviously don't have it plugged in. But the other is for the lights that goes along to each of the lights. And actually these lights, this one's pretty cool. It's got a plug on the end there, so I can power this one without having to run that white wire all the way to the surge protector. And it also powers the power strip that goes to the right hand side of the toolbox right here as well. Kind of explain how this light works. I know it's kind of cockeyed at the moment. That's because I don't have any anchors on either end at the moment. And actually here, let's turn this off so you can actually see. And then I can turn this one on. Oh yeah, there we go. So you can see those little sticky pads that I was talking about. I had them kind of anchored on the sides here, but it didn't really work out that well. They don't stick very well. They don't hang on there the whole time. And then I got just a zip tie going through the holes of the middle here. It's holding it pretty well, but it hasn't really done anything. So, and these lights are really lightweight. This is just really thin aluminum, and the LED lights themselves, so it's not like it's a ton of weight that it's holding. But essentially the power comes over to the extension cord here. It's on a little bungee at the top. Then the extension cord goes up to the wall, and then over to the top light where it connects up there. I did have the extension cord going all the way over to the power unit itself, but once I got the new lights here, it was able to go just to that light and then to this one. And to show you how it works, when I close the door, it has plenty of slack to where it doesn't get caught on anything. And if you're wondering if it rubs on this, it does, but it's not like it's going through the extension cord or anything. Works out pretty well, because then I have light coming this way. Light from above. Works out really nice. I learned that from a friend of mine a couple of years ago. I would like to get this in a little bit better of a system, but I mean, this works pretty well for what I need it for, so I'll probably just keep it like this for now. And obviously garage door, it does hit that, but that's a little string. It doesn't mean anything. So let's get started on the left-hand side here. That's actually just my tripod for my camera. We got one of the super clamps here for the sled deck. I just haven't thrown that in yet. But I use this little spot for straps and tie downs. Pretty simple. And we got this cabinet right here. Actually came from my grandpa, who recently we had to move into a home because he's getting to that age where he just isn't able to provide for himself. So he gave this to me, and it works out pretty well. We got on the top shelf all the filters, additives, stuff like that. The yellow ones, the man filters, are for the E46. The Zengsi, I don't know how to exactly say that, but that's for my daily driver, a BMW X5. And then we got some filters for the truck. That's a fuel filter I've actually got to throw on here in a little bit. And then obviously oil filter for the truck right there. We got oil for the E46 here, antifreeze, a couple different ones, and then oil for the X5 on the right hand side here, which I really don't care about organizing it perfectly. It just needs to be all in there. Then we got cleaning products right here. Next one down, this is more for towing as well as just kind of storage for the feet for the sled deck on the back there. These are the new ones that need to go on. I just haven't done it yet. I just got the sled deck about 3 weeks ago, so I just haven't had a chance to throw those in yet. And then got the tie downs for the sled deck right there, and then obviously a BMW tow hitch. I just haven't done a whole lot of towing, so it doesn't sit in the truck. It just sits in here for right now. And then more liquids and windshield washer fluid down below. But having a cabinet that allows me to have everything organized pretty nicely, and I didn't have to pay anything for it, it's pretty nice. And it's pretty interesting little not locking mechanism, but how it closes. This little guy here, you turn it vertically, press it in, and it stays. That's it. And then just turn it to unlock it. It's pretty nice. Then just got a tarp up on top. And then on the other storage rack over here, got some tires up top. That's actually the front ones that came off of the E46. I got to take those over to a friend's shop. They do a lot of drifting and whatnot, so they'll be happy to have those as some drift spares. Got a couple boxes here that I'll show you. I got these from an old workplace from about 10 years ago that I used to work for, installing like accessories in Mazdas and stuff like that. They came with these really thin sticky pads. These are amazing. If you have like a wiring harness or something that is rubbing against each other or something like that, you can put that in between whatever it's rubbing against, it takes it away, or wrap it around something and just prevents things from rattling against each other and whatnot. And the other box here is similar, but it's actually a thicker pad. It's like probably 2 or 3 times thicker than the upper ones, but it's very similar. Next one down, we also got the clamps sitting right here, and then got a lot of cleaning products, stuff like that sitting here. BB Blaster. This is some really good adhesive spray that I used for a recent project in the X5, the daily driver. I'll go over that in a future video. Next one down, we got power tools. This little heater right here, I used for like installing and taking off wraps and whatnot. It doesn't really work that well. I would not recommend it. for $75, yeah, nah. I'd rather stick to the corded version. I was hoping that would last a little longer. It only lasted probably like 10 to 15 minutes per charge on doing that, which, yeah, I don't know why I expected anything longer than that from a cordless heater, but oh well. Then we got a bunch of Craftsman 19.2 volt power tools. I recently just got these 3. I've had the impact, the drill, and the half-inch for quite a few years now. They've worked great. I've never had any issues with them at all. So I went and bought a couple. Actually, I've had this for a couple years now too, but I went and got the brad nailer and the skill saw as well, just because I wanted, because I actually used both of these on the recent project that I did for the X5 as well. But these things worked phenomenally. It was a little bit of a process to figure out the brad nailer, and I'm still getting used to it. But everything worked great. I'm really wanting to get into the Craftsman 20 volt system, but I'd already had obviously the 19.2 system for a while now, so I just stuck with that. I know they did discontinue all the 19.2 stuff pretty recently, I think, or maybe a while ago, I don't know. But I'm gonna stick with it for now until like one of these start to break or I start to get new tools. So eventually I'll probably switch over to the 20-volt system. I mean, unless Craftsman wants to sponsor me on the new 20-volt system, I'll just stick with the 19-volt system for now. It works great. And we got just gloves, and we got just a OBD2 tester just to see what codes pop up for OBD2 systems. It's not super amazing or anything. I need to get a little bit more advanced OBD2 system for like scanning and resetting airbag systems. This was, I think, like 40 or 50 bucks or something like that. And then just a tester here, corded drill, and then an electric cutoff tool. Next shelf down, we got a couple of oil drain pans. These are empty at the moment. I emptied them into the blue and yellow oil cans here that I'm actually gonna give to a friend that we go see here pretty soon. Then we just got a couple more gallons of the windshield washer fluid. I drive quite a bit. I think I've put on about 45,000 miles between all my vehicles just in 2021. So kind of drive a lot. So I need plenty of that stuff. In the last shelf down here, we got just a vacuum, my old exhaust from the 800, or no, that was from the 850, I think. And then just some boxes with random stuff in it. And the friend that I actually take all that used engine oil to, we're gonna be working with him on a project for the Polaris Boost system. I'm not gonna say what exactly we're gonna be doing with it, but he is a fabricator, so I'll leave it up to your imagination on what we're going to be doing with that. But he's a really good fabricator down in Olympia, Washington. So look forward to a future video for coming out with some products for the Polaris Boost. All right, next up we got an old Craftsman Toolbox here. This is actually was my dad's from a long time ago. He just gave it to me, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago when he got a new one. But I've had this for a while now, and then recently got the US General Harbor Freight Special one. But we'll kind of go through this real quick. First, above it, we got just a hood light here. This thing works pretty well, actually. I don't know if I have it charged at the moment. It's pretty bright. It puts a little bit of light out. Not as much as I was hoping for. When you have it plugged in, it's a little bit brighter, but it's not as bright as I wanted it to be. But for 35 bucks, or however much it was, I think it's pretty cheap. Wasn't bad. Works. And that just lives up there, kind of hangs on to the garage door framing work up there. And I'm still working on the wall for getting like things hanging up and whatnot and organized. So got a saw there, then got random flashlights and whatnot for working on things. The top drawer here of the Craftsman is just random parts. Got a laser thermometer here on the left side and just a bunch of random stuff. If you don't have one of these for batteries, I don't know what you're doing. This little guy works so well, and I've had this for years. It just cleans off the posts from batteries, both the female, or for the male side, and then the female side is up here, up top. I don't know if I can do this one hand. Oh yeah, there we go. And then that's for the female side. Just leave that up here for now. Got more O-ring removers. This is just a lot of old tools from Harbor Freight, from buying the cheap stuff. This is just kind of my spare tool cabinet, and then that holds a lot of stuff that the new one couldn't. This drawer is for all the sealants and little plastic pry bars to do a lot of interior work, picks, whatnot. I think someone took my straight snap-on pick, which I had this thing. I hadn't opened this thing for years, and then opened it up like a couple years ago, and unfortunately someone snagged it. So, oh well. And of course, we got JB Weld down here in the corner. That stuff works amazingly. We got some thread locker, but pretty simple. And then in the bottom drawer here, we got some just brushes, chisels, center punch, drill bits, stuff like that. Pretty simple. Then got a couple Allen screwdrivers on the right-hand side here, T-handles. But I don't really use them a whole lot since I have full Allen sets inside the main cabinet there. This is just all the random little screws, stuff for electrical, O-rings, hose clamps. These don't really work that well at all, so don't get those from Harbor Freight. Just random stuff in boxes. This is for vacuum lines. I've used that probably 2 or 3 times in the 10 years that I've owned it. So not really much to see in that drawer, nothing cool. we got more Allen Torx bits in here. Wasn't able to fit everything inside the main cabinet there, so this holds a lot of the Allen and Torx extras in here. This little guy right here is for European cars. This is your triple square sockets. So I had to use these for some Volkswagens that I had back in the day. Just haven't had anything that requires them since then, but I think it was only 20 bucks or something like that for those. So next drawer down, some files, cutting utensils, stuff like that, blah blah blah. Little pipe tool there. Next drawer down is just extra random wrenches on the right hand side here and zip ties. I don't have this organized very well, so I apologize. But here is my impact big boy stuff for when I need to work on a little bit larger. Here's for the axle nut on the E46. That was a pain in the ass to find that exact size. Let's order it from either BMW or some specialty European shop online. We got my electrical drawer right here. Just a lot of random wiring, stuff like that. And then even more extra tools in here. I can't express enough how much this is a lifesaver. This is for batteries. So say this is a battery, you put it over the side here and then just pull up on it. Works great for pulling batteries out of vehicles. Oh my God. That's huge lifesaver right there. But a bunch of other bolt cutters there. This is for brake pads when you want to push out the brake pads on some calipers. That grease gun here. I really want to get an electric grease gun, but at like $250, I'll probably just stick with this for now. I don't do enough of it to justify $250 for electric grease gun. So next up, we got the US General Harbor Freight Special tool cart here. I got this, I think, on sale for, I don't know, 180 bucks or something like that. I don't need a super nice Snap-on or Mac tools or anything like that tool cart. I just needed something basic to works great. Had to put it together, obviously, but works great. Up top, we got a little blue point magnet here for like just putting tools on, just putting like little small tools on. Got a couple Phillips and flathead screwdrivers there. This little tool right here is for when you pull the exhaust springs off of sleds. If you don't have one of these tools, you definitely need to get one if you're a snowmobiler. And I'll put links down in the description for specialty tools like that I'm talking about. Got more flashlights along the top there. Got a magnet right here. This little guy is a lifesaver. I actually have a smaller one somewhere that I don't know where I put it, honestly. Got some more Loctite back there. Got some ear savers right here. Along the sides, got a pry bar back here. This is just kind of extended from the sockets along the side here. This little grabber right here that it's got a magnet on the end there, but it's also got little teeth. This I got for free a little while ago, but haven't used it yet. And then I almost forgot along the side here. This is for when you're pulling the primary, I think it's the primary clutch for the Polaris sleds. Screws in and pulls it right off. Along the other side, more long screwdrivers. And for the middle, I wanted the biggest reason I got this box was just wanted to have sockets up top here, ready, easily available to get to. I recently just bought, that's why these are all like nice and shiny. Recently just went and bought all new sockets, whatnots, just because I was missing a bunch of them and just wanted to kind of update all my sockets so that they're all the same, nice and new and not missing. I still got to do the same for my standard sockets, but we'll get to that in the future. I've got extensions, ratchets, electric ratchet here. This thing's actually pretty nice. I'd really want to get the Milwaukee one, but this one's worked pretty well. Just charging it is a little bit funky because you got to take the battery out, and it has a little port on the side of it that you charge it from. So it's kind of a little bit weird, but still works just fine. And a couple things that actually added on to the box here was obviously the side here. It comes down and sits in this little pocket right here. And sometimes, or a couple times, I had actually bumped it and like pushed it up. And obviously this swings out and the whole thing drops. So I've made a couple messes a couple times. So I put a piece of tape along the bottom here to kind of just hold it in place there. Works pretty good. And then obviously got the power station right here that goes up to power up there. I got this little guy that holds the gloves, but they didn't have white at the time. I don't know if white was even available when I got it. It is now, but I don't think it was either there at the time or something like that. So I just got black. Other side here, holding my rulers and level at the moment, but I usually put like fluids or whatever along the side there. Going through all the drawers, got all the screwdrivers on the left hand side there. There's all my chargers for all the different tools. Allens and Torx up here. All my wrenches down here. This is all Snap-on. I've had for since 2007 or 8, I think. Old stuff. I'm actually missing, I think, the 12. I know that I have the 11 somewhere, but I think I'm missing the 12 millimeter standard size right there. So I gotta talk to a buddy that works at a dealership to get a new one. But all these little shorties right here, get yourself some. It's so worth it to have little shorties there. I bought these a while back, the crow's feet. Probably used them once. Don't buy them. Not worth it. This is all the pound, grabby, clampy, cutty drawer here. So yeah, pretty standard. Moving on to the bottom, got a couple things. Oh, that's heavy with one hand. Doing press work with this one. I've done a lot of bushings and stuff like that for. Actually, I had to buy this specifically for the bushings on the E46 when I did the rear of that. That was not fun. Actually, I haven't used much of this in a while, so this is actually the ball joint press right here. It'll open. I've actually bent one of these before. it was a Harbor Freight one. I cracked the top here doing ball joints on that Duramax that I had. I missed the shice out of that truck, by the way. This is just the impact socket set. Pretty nice. Haven't really used it a whole lot, but I want to try and incorporate that somehow into when I get a future box that will actually just replace both of these. This is some magnetic tape that I got back in when I got a whole lot of Snap-on tools that works really well. The white comes off and it's just a sticky back siding, so it goes along, so you can put it anywhere you need to have magnetic to put anything up against it. That didn't work. I think it's lost its magnetic ability over the years. I've had it for probably 10 years and just never really used it very much. So, but yeah, I don't know if Snap-on still makes it, but I'm assuming they do. Got some shop towels here. This stuff is expensive as all get out. That is disc brake caliper tool, and then my tap and die set. Really love this. This was nice having past couple years. And then next to the toolbox, got a couple jack stands. Actually had some bigger ones. I had some 6-ton, or sorry, I think 3-ton or maybe 6-ton jack stands from Harbor Freight a while ago, and left them at a buddy's shop, I think, and just never went and got them again, but oh well. And Harbor Freight stopped making them, so I had to get some new ones. Then I got a snowmobile track stand in the back there. Will obviously be used when there is a snowmobile sitting here. Before I get into the 2 workbenches that I have along here, I want to go on the top side here with the storage racks. I think these storage racks it was $180 or something like that off of Amazon. They bolt in really nicely. They're anchored very well. I actually went through and obviously found at each one of the studs, marked it, drilled it, make sure I was going into wood and not drywall. And they are very, very sturdy. I could probably lay up there and they'd be plenty sturdy. I think they're rated up to, I don't know, like 250 pounds or something like that, or 300 pounds. But holds everything really nicely. It's very even. It's not perfect, obviously. You can see right here, but holds pretty nicely. And everything that I have up there right now, the middle or the end one here is my old sled gear. And there's parts from both sleds, oil, parts from cars. That's my old fuel tank from one of the sleds. And then this is a light right here that I use for when I'm filming garage stuff, which I'll probably break out and start to film here pretty soon, actually. And it also worked out pretty nicely having this light being able to hang right above the tool, right above the bench right here, having plenty of light so I can work on things. As far as both of these benches, they retailed for, I want to say, I think $250 or maybe it was like $200 each or something like that. And I found the exact ones that I was looking for on OfferUp for, I think he was asking about $400 for both of them. I offered him, I think it was either $300 or $350 or something like that. And he accepted and got them both. They were both pretty much brand new. He was selling 3 of them, but I only needed 2 because there's no way I could fit a third one in here. I probably could somehow, but I only needed 2. The tops were pretty much brand new. He had this carpeting right here. He had that carpeting on top of them the entire time he had them. So they're adjustable, they're steel, they're super sturdy. They don't really move, so it's pretty nice. And they're made by Husky. I don't know the exact models, but they're the steel adjustable ones. As you can see right here, I got an old Sled Next poster with good old Chris Brandt on the left there. I think this is Chris Brown on the far right here, and I don't really remember who the 3 in the middle were. I want to say that's Randy Sherman. I have no idea who the other 2 were, but this is from the old Sled Neck days, the originals. Eventually, I would like to get this framed. I know it sounds kind of weird for a poster, but this is some serious nostalgia for us that grew up watching these guys kill it in the backcountry. So, and I don't really want to just pin it up as a regular poster. I like to get it preserved and keep it nice. So, down below we got just some extra bins. I got some water in there and straps, and that's a cover from the 800. That's from one of the original covers from like 2017 that I had on the blue and purple Galaxy sled. Then I used it for the 850, but it's pretty torn, so I need to get a new cover when the new Boost comes. I got plenty of space for storage down below. There's a little shop chair that I recently got off of Amazon. I think it was like $60 or something like that. But this makes it kind of nice to have somewhere to sit down and be able to work on things. I got a air compressor in the back there. It's pretty small, but I want to try and build like a soundproof box to throw around it so I can actually use it, because there is a unit above the garage here, so I don't want to disturb them too much. And next up, we got just a little fridge here. I think I've had this for a couple of years now. Just got some waters in it. I don't keep it on just because it does require not a lot of power, but it doesn't really make sense to have it on all the time when I'm not out here working all the time. But on the right hand bench here, you can obviously see I've been working a little bit. This is from the project from the X5. Just finished that up this last weekend. Just haven't had a chance to come out here and clean, but I got a vise here that I mounted. These little guys are amazing for throwing on a vise and not marring up or scratching or anything, whatever you're clamping down. These are plastic ones, and the center that's cut out here and like the little angled bits, that's for when you're cutting or working on pipe or something round or something like that. Makes it nice to have it centered so the whatever round object that you have is not moving around or anything. But these just hold on to the back of the vise there and stay on there pretty well. Makes it pretty nice. I got a set of some aluminum with rubber ones as well. Then along the back, I got a nice little pegboard system with a couple shelves on the right hand and left hand side, as well as paper towel holder on the left there. Makes it kind of nice to have some tools over here so if I'm working on a small project or something like that, I can reach here and grab tools here rather than having to go 2 feet that way. Whatever. I actually didn't mean to line these up like as a display or anything, but I got a couple things from Polaris that I'm trying out. Advanced fuel treatment, the grease, which I'm assuming is just the same as anything you can get from any auto parts store, some fogging oil for at the end of the season, and carbon clean, which I want to test out the differences between the two. So I'm probably going to test that out on either the Boost or my dad's sled when I go to get that. And up above, we got a nice little shelving system. I went and got just a piece of siding essentially, and then just used some stain to literally just stain the wood so it would look black instead of, it's just pine siding essentially. And I just stained it black. Works great, doesn't really wear off or anything. And then you just use some Amazon special brackets to mount it to the wall. And got all my old helmets sitting up there. And then a Polaris 850 Patriot motor banner in the background. And of course, good old faithful American flag, baby. And this space is a little bit cramped at the moment for a good reason, since the car does come all the way up to the edge here. But along the side, I got a nice little creeper and boxes of just random stuff at the moment. I haven't gone through any of this for a little while now. Need to. These two storage bins here and here are going to go in the truck underneath the sled deck. One of them's for like towing and recovery. One's for sled repair and stuff like that. I got some extra parts in it. And then one was for like roadside safety. Got some flares, waters, first aid kit. Actually need to put a new first aid kit in there. And that's all gonna go underneath the sled deck for when I'm on my road trips. Got some fake old signs here. Kind of cool. It's like 20 bucks for 5 of them on Amazon. So got a couple of those. I'm gonna try and find a spot probably up along the top just to help add a little bit of character to small little one car garage here. Got a couple tables. I use those for when I pull the truck or the X5 in, because they don't exactly fit in here perfectly. I can nose them in and do oil change on them, which actually just recently did oil change on the truck for the first time in this garage. Well, she fits. just barely. Like. Enough room to squeeze by. Time to do oil change on the truck. We got our nice little low pro jack right there, which I need to actually get a new one because that thing's probably coming up on like 10 years old or something like that. This thing's pretty old. And then we got the wall of shame. Not a whole lot of parts here at the moment, but this is all just broken parts and bent things from over the years of riding snowmobiles. This is just very small compared to what I've actually broken and bent and whatnot. This is probably just stuff I've just hadn't thrown away yet. This bumper here, it's not tweaked that much. I could probably throw it on any sled, but you can see it's a little bit tweaked along here, and I'll throw up the video from when that actually happened. Are you good? Are you good? Yeah. Holy shit. Well, just a little bit of carnage. Took the tab off, ripped some of the wrap off, a little bit of damage, nothing to the bumper almost. I haven't checked inside. Bent the upper A-arm, but did way more damage to the tree. But I just thought it would be a nice little piece to throw up on the wall here. Got a couple hubcaps from some Volkswagens and Chevrolets. Got all of them at a garage sale for I think like 10 bucks or something like that. So it's kind of cool to throw them up there. Got the fender from the BMW. We'll go over that in a future video. And then along the back stretch here, got another couple shelves here. I spaced them out purposely so that I have plenty of room to put this ramp here and have a little bit of extra shelving space for other items. And then in the corner, this piece of wood is actually from the project that I did for the X5 as well. I just haven't had a chance to, because both this, the carpet, and a couple other items are gonna go over to a storage unit over on the east side of the mountains. Then just got extension cords, dustpan, stuff like that. Ice scraper here for when it starts to get cold, because it is starting to get down into the like mid 40s. We're starting to get snow up in the mountains, so we've got some brooms, and that's about it. All right, and that's how I organized and work out of my little one car garage here. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any specific questions relating to anything I talked about, or you're just excited for the snow to finally be here, let me know in the comment section below as well. I'll definitely throw links to a few of the things that I talked about in the video down in the description below. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.